Hello everybody, Andrew Maguire here, and today I'm doing some property photography and I thought I'd take you along with me to show you how I do it. So a couple of things that really help me get the job done are a wireless Flashgun unit. This is a Yongnuo 562 speed light, a Sigma 10-20 wide angle lens, my tripod, and of course property. Let's go. So what we've got basically is a large kitchen diner, and I'm going to show you some tips and tricks of how to make this room look as good as it possibly can. Now, one of the main things is to make your make your group of photos look really modern, which is something that estate agents will want from you. They don't want it to look dated, they don't want it to look lazy, so you need to use this is where your flash comes in. Also, using your wide angle lens, you can really create space, and one important thing is not to lie about how big or small the space is. And I'm going to show you some tricks about how to make sure you get a killer shot. Right then, boys and girls, so it's really important that what we do, the first thing we look at is, are our horizontals horizontal, which they probably, if I look around, I'll just check that I normally line up the left hand and the right hand side of the frame, so I can use the right hand dashes on the radiator and also the upright of the wall on the left. And as soon as I'm happy with that, I can shoot. With which I just did, which I'll upload. Without the flash, you'll see that it looks dull and just lacking. There'll be too many shadows in here. So what you need to do, you need to put on your flash, and I'll take another shot. And as you can see, it looks much brighter, and you can see how modern the place is. Now, one thing I'd always say is make sure that you've got your lights switched on in the room, just to add a little bit more light. So if there's two things that sell a house, it's light and space. So again, I'll just do one from this area, with and without. And this one is with. And of course, look how much better that one looks. Now, the good thing about using your flash is that you can see outside. Now, the camera probably won't be able to pick that up, but it's a lovely day outside. Now, the features are the most important thing. So, obviously, this window is a massive, massive seller, because look how much light that it's letting in. So when you're at your house, you need to think quickly. Trying to show. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show that 4 different aspects of this kitchen are enough. If you feel like you have to do more, but you probably won't need to. What I might do here is just one from this angle. I'll line it up nice and straight. You can see the top of the kitchen tops. In fact, I might just go a little bit higher because I'm quite wide here. So I'm just going to heighten. There we go. That looks beautiful. Okay, so that's a little tip about how to do it. Now, when you're using your tripod, you obviously need to make sure it's great. I mean, this is another shot we could potentially do because it just shows the actual kitchen side of things. But again, look how vertical things are, rather than if I'm taking it at head height and it looks god awful. And your estate agent probably, if they know what they're talking about, won't accept it, they won't like it. So again, try and get everything nice and lined up, and avoid head height if you can, so always come down to just below head height, because then you can see a little more floor space, which is, you know, probably more important, the most important thing, that the person who's potentially going to buy this house needs to see how much floor space is available. Okay, now the last thing I wanted to talk about is your actual shot settings. Now what I do, I always shoot in manual mode. Now the reason I do this is because there are less variables to control. Now sometimes when I first started this, I would find that shots were underexposed, overexposed, and I couldn't work out why. Now if you have full control over your aperture, your shutter speed and your ISO, then you're going to get you're going to understand how the camera works much quicker, and you're going to get better results. So what I always do, I always go into shutter, when I shoot manual, I have a shutter speed of 100th of a second. I normally, the variant, that never changes. I always I always shoot at 100th of a second. Occasionally, I will increase that if it's very, very light. If the kitchen has got panoramic ceiling of daylight, I'm still want to use my flash, then occasionally I'll go to 200, but very rarely do I do that, so I always shoot at 100th. My ISO normally goes about 500, so that basically stays as an average. It really works for me indoors, and the last thing I do is my aperture. Now that is the thing that I change. Now if you shoot and something's too dark, what do? You open up your aperture, and of course if you go down your numbers, if you go down to, I don't know, f4, 5.6, then you're going to get a much brighter image. An alternative, if you're shooting in a small room with no windows, if you put the flash on, you're going to have a really, really overexposed image, so go to f16. F14, you're going to get quite a more balanced image. And another thing, if you want to show, well, we don't have an example in here, but sun rays, or you've got a nice chandelier that's casting a lovely light on the roof, then you want quite a low number, you want a very wide aperture, and then you want to dial down your flash. Now your flash is another thing that has to change. So in that instance, I would open up the aperture to around about 5.6, maybe f4, and I would focus on the back. I'd focus on something in the background, because that's another thing you've got to be careful about. If you do shoot at a wide aperture, then you do risk a depth of field occurring, which you don't want. And your flash sync speed then has to be, or your flash speed has to be tampered with. So if you're in a dark room, you won't need that much power. So you compensate it with your aperture. Open your aperture right out to f5.6, and you can dial down your flash to let's say a 16th or 132. Normally 116 power is what I start with. My standard for flash is 1.4, 1.4, maybe 1.8, and if I need to change it, I change it, but the main variable with property photography is my aperture. Nothing else really changes. So I really hope that helps, and remember, subscribe, like, comment, all that jazz, and I'll see you soon. Thanks very much. Cheers.